Hello, good afternoon. So this is going to be the beginning of restarting my Q&A videos. Today I'm going to be answering one of the questions from our meditation site. And the question today is, uh, what is the validity of short meditation sessions? So the uh, question here is whether doing a 10-minute, it's a specific example, the answer will be try to be more general, but specifically uh, whether doing 10 minutes of meditation and then 4 minutes break in sequence. So 10 minutes meditation, 4 minutes break, 10 minutes meditation, 4 minutes break, whether that's acceptable. And so generally the question becomes, how long should your meditation sessions be? The first thing to talk about then is the importance of a meditation session at all, right? Meditation isn't something that involves minutes or hours or days. Meditation, as I've said, involves moments. It's because our experiences are momentary. Seeing lasts a moment, hearing lasts a moment. Pain is momentary. I mean, the experience of it is. As a result, and as you can fairly easily see with a little bit of meditation practice or even without it, our reactions to experiences are also momentary. It's only a moment. It only takes a moment to get angry about something. The anger appears quite quickly. You don't have to spend time saying, okay, let's get ready to be angry now. Here it comes. Okay, all together now, anger. No, the reaction is momentary. As a result, the habit forming occurs based on these moments, and changing our habits, or learning even about our habits as a start, involves the observation of these moments. Any moment that you can do that is great. So for this reason, and also because this process of observation can take place no matter what you're doing, a so-called session of meditation, where you're actually sitting still, isn't necessary at all. And if that's what you mean, then technically speaking, there's no reason to have any sort of rules about times of meditation sessions. So if you say 10 minutes of meditation and then 4 minutes of break, I would say no breaks, right? The only breaks should be when you're asleep, because, well, you can't really very easily be mindful when you're sleeping. No breaks would be ideal. And there's really no excuse for a meditator to take a break in that sense. Now, for people living in the world, they're going to take breaks because they have other things to do. They want to learn something, they have to read a book. You're reading the book, you're not meditating. Not consistently, not constantly. Because some of your time is engaged in other sorts of mental activity. But that's not really what's being asked here. It's an important point. It's important that we understand that, and understand that all of our rules and guidelines and schedules are all convention, and they don't get at the underlying principle of meditation being about moments. You can meditate for hours and say, I did hours of meditation days, weeks, months, years, and get nothing out of it. Or never become enlightened, for sure, simply because you never really meditated. So you never really saw things clearly. So then, practically speaking, what's the importance of, is there an importance of sitting still for 10 minutes? So the first thing I would say is that doing only sitting meditation all day is problematic. You know, sitting all day is something we've become accustomed to in modern times, but it's not very healthy. It's not very natural, and it's not optimum. Optimal? It's not optimal. Walking meditation has, or walking movement has benefits psychologically as well, not just physically. There's an energy that's created through doing moving meditation, which is why we do walking meditation. So first thing I would recommend is, the first thing to switch would be to add 10 minutes of walking first. Do 10 minutes of walking and then 10 minutes of sitting and then 4-minute break. Is that good? So that's the next question. Is that good? The other problem about short meditations, and this really I think gets to the heart of this question. They're great to start with. If anyone can do, just starting to meditate, can do 10 minutes of walking and 10 minutes of sitting, wow, congratulations, you've done something very special. The Buddha said even one moment of meditation is very special, but 10 minutes of it, good for you. But once you've gone beyond that, there are limitations to such a practice of only 10 minutes. See, mindfulness at its very core is about facing your problems, but not just problems, facing everything, facing reality. Because we run away from it, we react to it, we forget it, right? Hence sati, which means to remember it. But sati has one of its important qualities is, I can't remember the word now. It's to face. It means to face, to face head on your experiences, rather than running away, or being afraid of them, or reacting to them in any way. Just being with them. Patience, right? Patience is one way of describing the quality of an insight meditator. Someone who has, it's called anulomika kanti. Anuloma is when you finally get things, when you're going with the grain. Anuloma means with the grain, and you finally you get it. And patience is the, kanti means patience. Anulomika kanti means patience that gets it. You're no longer impatient because you get it. You see things as they are. Right? When you see things as they are, there's no stress, no impatience. 10 minutes of meditation, first of all, doesn't let the average meditator face their problems, face reality. After 10 minutes, things are just starting to get interesting, to put it in colloquial terms. You're just starting to observe challenging mind states. Boredom would be a good one. Pain will start to come up. Wants, desires will come up. 10 minutes is fine to help you understand reality, because reality is all there. But for the average meditator, everything is all their mind states are still too subtle. So for an average meditator, conditions are going to build, and after an hour it can get quite difficult, and you'll have to face quite difficult conditions. We consider an hour to be about good. You don't have to go beyond an hour, though sometimes meditators do. But it's just an artificial limit that we tend to set. We say, well, do maximum 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting. That's what we try to get our meditators up to. Again, there's no compelling reason to stick to 1 hour beyond, it seems about right. And it's convenient because you can count hours and so on. But most important is it allows you to face your problems. It allows you to face your problems, and it allows subtle problems to become more evident because they'll build. If you're not mindful of something, suppose during those 10 minutes something is happening, like you're getting bored, but it's too subtle and you don't catch it. You're not mindful of it because you're not aware of it. Well, after 10 minutes, if you continue sitting, it'll become more apparent. It'll get more severe, and you'll be able to note it. So it's profitable in that way. Practically speaking, longer meditation sessions are more profitable. That being said, there's another related question, and it's the question of whether I should do one big meditation session once a day, or, for example, split it in half and do one in the morning and one in the evening. And I usually tell meditators, again, keeping in mind this isn't magic. I don't have any rule book where I say, if you do this, you will become enlightened. If you do that, you won't become enlightened. It's important that we rise above magical thinking, that somehow there's some magic formula that I can use that's going to get me enlightened. We have to be smarter than that. Meditation is like war. It's like a battlefield. And you've done all this training. I don't know how they teach soldiers, but I would imagine they would tell them, you're doing all this training and it's not going to mean crap when you're out on the field because everything's going to go crazy. I imagine that's how it is. I can imagine a battlefield being just all your training goes out the window and you try to use what you can and use it as best you can. And that's kind of how meditation works. It's messy. And you try to do your best to learn about your mind and learn about reality using the tools that you've been given. One thing you should never mess with is the technique, but the technique is you can adapt it to any situation, and it doesn't involve minutes or hours or days. But so this question of whether you should do 2 shorter meditations, I recommend more, because the other question here, or the other aspect of this question, is the idea of continuity. And the Buddha talked about something, or it's at least described in the Buddha as talking about something called sattacca kiriyavasena, which means staying in the same condition continuously, not changing your condition. Again, to allow this sort of the accumulation of difficulty to really test you. It's easy to sit 10 minutes and then okay, because I can take a break. But what if you have to sit for an hour and you have to really bear with things, be patient with them? The ability, the potential to cultivate patience is higher. And so doing shorter meditations is not better because it's shorter. It's better because it's more often, it's more frequent, and it's more likely to encourage you to be mindful when you're not meditating. Right? If you do one meditation session, even a long one, it's good that you did it. But then there's 24 hours where you're not doing any formal meditation, and so your ability to be mindful during the time you're not meditating is, I would say, inhibited, reduced. Whereas if you do 2 a day, you're thinking more about meditation. It's more continuous. And so the 12 hours between each, or however many hours between each session, you're more likely to be mindful. So doing more sessions is good, but doing lots of little sessions gets problematic for the reasons mentioned. So there you go. Shorter videos now, that's the idea. One question, one answer per video. If you want to ask questions, you can go to our meditation site, meditation.sirimangalo.org. It's not going to be in the description of this video, not right away, I don't think, but you can find it on my channel, I think. And if you can, I don't know, if you can't find it, well, that's part of your spiritual journey, is to find things like this, to teacher doesn't seek out the students. So good luck. Wish you all the best. 74 viewers, wonderful. Have a good day, everyone.